What is going on? I want to thank you for coming by to Vape with the Vikings. So today, yeah, this is happening. I have a pod system for you today. Don't do a lot of these because I'm not a huge pod user, even though I do need to use them at work. The problem is just a metal worker, lots of metal dust in the air, burned out with the Caliburn a lot of the pods on that. So, but we're gonna go over this. Always looking for a good pod system for work, and this one is actually called the Swand Pod by Xiaoyong. Now, if you're not familiar with this company, I did several 3-4 months ago. I did their RTA sub-ohm tank, which was the Shadow 3, which was one of the first sub-ohm tanks that I tried as a reviewer and actually liked. I just don't do sub-ohm coils all that well. I did previously before reviewing, and I just can't get the flavor out of them. Couldn't get the performance. That Shadow 3 actually did really well. So I was pretty excited because they did send me these for the purpose of this review. They did send me like 4 different colors, and I'll show you those color options. We're not going to do a traditional dive down because it is a pod system. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of this pod, I want to get into Vikings Advocacy Minute yet again. Like I tell you, don't have to be involved, but please be informed. Knowledge is power. And without that, we're going to wake up one day, there's not going to be any vaping, and we cannot hear the excuse anymore of I didn't know. Social media out there, it's everywhere. You can go onto the sites that I put in the description all the time, which is like CASA.org, Not Blowing Smoke, Adults for Tobacco Free America, I believe, is another one of those as well. There's just tons and tons of sites. You just got to take 5, 10, 20 minutes out of your day once a week. Go check out those sites. It takes 30 seconds to sign up, and then they just email the stuff to you. So please be informed. There's tons and tons of heinous stuff going on, and we're just, if we're not informed, we're letting them have the power to do what they want to because we don't know what they're doing. So don't let them do it to us. Please don't let them do it to us. So that is all I'm going to say on this review on some advocacy. So let's get down into this pod system. So first off, it does come in a couple different colors. You're not going to be able to see that real well. Kind of got a little washout going on today for some odd reason, but it does come in black, gray, blue, and red, and then 2 what they call gradients, a gradient blue and a gradient red. And it's just kind of a shadowy color of the main primary colors. They sent me a, I think it was supposed to be a black, a gray, a red, and a blue, and I ended up getting 2 grays, a red, and a blue. So, which everybody knows what we're going to do, at least the Rising Vapors group, what we're going to do with a couple of those. If you don't know, watch the show. So, but a couple little things that they have on the side here. You got 2 mil capacity. You have massive vapor, real taste, MTL, and 450 mAh, all on the side. Like I said, it's going to be kind of hard to see. And then they do have your colors and the notation of those colors marked on the side. So like this one is the red one. So what you're going to get in the box is you're going to get the pod system itself with a pre-installed pod, a spare pod, and your USB cable. So what I'm running in mine, because I don't do pod systems that well, but when I do, there are a couple brands out there like Jam Monster and Bad Drip Labs. Jam Monster does a 24 milligram Nic Salt, and Bad Drip Labs does 25. I can do those. They don't kill me, so I could definitely do those. But what I have in here is the Blackberry Jam Monster. So the way it's going to work, it's kind of similar to the Caliburn. You're going to have that top cover that's going to come right off. And the only difference is with this one, you actually have a rubber stopper to expose 2 fill holes, which are a little harder. There we go. Kind of see those there, because then there's your chimney per se right in the middle. And then you'll just take your salt of choice, and there is a line here towards the bottom underneath the cotton that shows the minimum line. And as you can see, I'm getting close to that minimum line. And you just pop your juice there and fill it on up. And since it does have two different holes, you don't have to worry about how the air is going to escape as you're filling it. And then the little plug, you'll have dimples go down, temples go down. And then there's a press it on back in there. And then pop your top. Now with this, it's magnetic, just kind of like the Caliburn. And then the little light will say that it's ready to go. Now, where this, in my opinion, does better than the Caliburn is because how it kind of seals itself up in there a little bit better. I don't get metal dust built up into those contacts. Like if you see, and it's kind of hard to see, but you see how shiny they are. My Caliburn, after every shift, I would pull that thing out and they would be coated in what looked like black soot. So it's because of the way the airflow is on this. It's kind of interesting, kind of neat. The airflow in the Caliburn was closer to the pod, so air, when I would draw in, would bring in that metal dust. Now with this one, it's actually down in the USB section. I found it weird because one time I put my hand over here and I was like, where's the air? So I really got to looking at it, and you can hear it when I take a draw on it. It actually comes down from here. So I found that really interesting. And all I do is after every shift, because your charger's there too, just like I do with my phone and everything I take to work, is I just kind of blow that out right there. And now at least my metal dust problems are completely over. It does not get into the contacts. It does not burn out the pod, which is amazing. So now let's get to, okay, well, it works a little bit better for you than the Caliburn. But how does it compare taste-wise to the Caliburn? That is a very good question. Hold on. To me, tastes just like the Caliburn. It is producing some pretty amazing flavor. And I have this pod filled up with the blackberry jam monster salts, and I have the other one with the ugly butter from Bad Drip Labs. One thing I will definitely say is, especially with the ugly butter, in the Caliburn pod, it took about 5, 6 or so good vapes off of it to really get that flavor really kick in. On this guy, it took 1, maybe 2 to get the flavor 100% represented in that pod. So, in that, I would say it's better than Caliburn. The only thing I haven't tested yet is the longevity of the pods themselves. So that I cannot say. I know most people get 10, 15, 20 fills on a Caliburn pod. I can't speak on that because I literally killed my Caliburn pods in roughly a couple refills. But that's also due to my environment. So this is on its 4th fill, and then the ugly butter is on its 2nd fill. Yeah. And of course, their flavor is still going strong, but that's also not a lot of fills. So verdict is still kind of out on that, but flavor producing just like the Caliburn. The other thing I like about it versus the Caliburn, no button. Because that was the one thing I hated. I always wanted to stick the Caliburn in my pocket. That would also help with that metal dust and everything. But inevitably, I would always hit that damn button. And throughout a shift, even if I had it turned off, I would eventually turn it on by having it in my pocket leaning up against stuff. So for me specifically, this pod is my Caliburn killer. It really is. It really is. So the only thing I can tell you is to try it yourself to see if you get the same thing I do. At least I know flavor production, you're going to get the same as me. Coil life is going to be the big variable factor I'm not sure of. Now, where to get it? That's the only bad thing is with Jiaoying, since they're still a up and growing company, you have to go directly to their website. And as I checked a couple of days ago, you cannot buy them. You can do the inquiry mode on their website. And they also do not show the pods replacements as a separate SKU at this point in time. So it's the only disadvantage with dealing with a company like them is they don't have a lot of distribution yet. And all that kind of stuff. They did actually ask me if I could talk to some of the big reviewers to, get them out there. And I'm kind of like, I could try. They're not going to talk to me, but I'll try. so, if any of you are out there, Mike Vapes, Bogan, Heavy Metal, anybody's actually watching this, kind of doubt it. But if you do, they definitely got to give this thing a shot, because I would love to also hear your opinions if it kills a Caliburn or not. So, but that is all I got today for the Swand. And like I said, they do have some extras. You might want to watch the Rising Vapors on Fridays at 7:30 Central, or even jump onto our Discord, and we'll let you know how you can possibly obtain a couple of these guys. So I want to thank each and every one of you yet again for coming by to Vape with a Viking, and I'll check you later.